Mick presents partners with Unlocked Mission, uniting communities through music and music education. Unlocked Mission partners with the performance ship Joyful Noise, visiting communities along the Mississippi River to entertain and educate musicians of all ages and abilities. Now it's time for our live crowd to focus, and let's go back to Mick Sterling.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for letting people focus. Focus.
I don't know if it's going to work out, but
Pivot.
Pivot.
So, let's talk about influences. I know I want to go to, and we'll go to what everybody knows, but there was a very interesting experience, and I don't know if you even knew I was there. Hollow Hands one night, you were playing with your brothers.
Oh yeah.
And
Such mayhem.
Yeah, and I often wondered, where did you get your tone? Where did you get your thought process? And in my second book, there's a chapter called "You're Like Family to Me," and it's about, you can have friends that you call, you love them and they feel like family to you, You love them as family, and they're very special to you. And that's lovely. But your family is your family, whether it's bad or good. That's where you came from. Your blood relatives. That's where when they saw all the foibles and the inadequacies and all that stuff. And when I saw you guys perform, it just made me see you. It made more sense to me where you came from.
Yeah.
Talk about what your family, how they contributed to how you sound now.
Yeah, they brought a lot of that stuff in. There were 8 kids, and I was the 7th out of them, and 5 boys and 3 girls. And I have 2 older twin sisters that play violins. Still do. They play concert violins. They're in the orchestras and stuff like that. So there was that kind of music. And then I had another brother that was into pop music, so there was a lot of Jim Croce in the house, Elton John, every Elton John, all day long. And then there were the guys that got into the blues. And then there were the guys that, from there it brought us to, Johnny Winter and, Allman Brothers and all this stuff. And then you hear that stuff and you're going back. And then you're going like, well, who's this Robert Johnson guy? And who's this guy? Well, I wouldn't have never gone down those roads without them. They used to come home from college with like big packs of records like this, and you'd just sit around all weekend, literally, down in the basement, and you'd just spin this stuff. Well, then they, eventually a couple of them got a guitar, started playing. My brother Greg was getting pretty good, And I was like, well, I gotta find a way to get into this, but naturally, like brothers do, every time he'd leave the house, he'd say, do not touch that instrument. And what's the first thing you do?
Of course you touch like that. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
And this was, early 70s, probably 74, 75. There weren't music stores everywhere. I didn't have a car, so naturally I'd break a string.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
And I had no way to replace the string, so
and
he would know as soon as he came home. He would know, and probably all you could get anyway was like a black diamond string from Woolworths or something, It would break when you were tuning it up to pitch,
So was it a competitive thing between your brothers?
No, we actually had this really kind of cool thing in our basement. We had like 3 bedrooms, and there was like a rec room out in the front, and in the middle room in there we had this just really loud stereo. Like we had a big PA system set up in this little tiny room, we ran everything, so you could turn your amps up. So the 3 of us that played guitar, Mark, Greg, and myself, the other 2 guys would sit out in the room with the sound off on the TV, and we would listen to the guy that was in there.
Okay. Oh,
and then he'd come out, and then the next guy would go in, and then, So I'm listening to how they're getting around all this music. There was nothing competitive about it, and there's still not. And to me, I don't like competitive music. I think music is meant to be shared. It's meant to be, bring what you have and bring it to the table and make the table better. Add your stuff and make the meal better. instead of like, no, like I'm gonna, kick your, I can't do music like that because I didn't grow up playing it that way.
Yeah.
Everybody sat around and shared and played, and they taught me a lot about, you're getting into this stuff over here that's not healthy. Get away from that stuff. Get back over here. But as far as tones and that stuff goes, it's kind of a progression through your career, and Steve can attest to this too. And it's a never-ending thing, and it's incredibly expensive, and it's annoying to your wife, you're like searching for this thing, and everybody's telling you, oh no, man, like you already have it, You already sound great. You probably have one of the best tones in town, and you're still going.
You're still looking for that tone.
It's just there's something that's not there. Yeah. Common sense is not there.
What strikes me is that what your wife said about you. You're the worst self-promoter I've ever
Yes.
seen.
Yeah.
That goes back to you're not a competitive person by nature.
No.
You want to share things and you just put it out there. And
I was a good swimmer. I liked that part of competition.
I'm not a strong swimmer.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live.
I still hold a record.
Yeah.
I do.
And what is that?
International Falls. My name is still up there from 9th grade. I did the 200-yard individual medley in 1 minute and 54 seconds. So it's still there. I went to the state meet when I was in 6th grade. And my brother was 4th in the nation in the 100-meter backstroke, and they were all coaches.
Yeah, you have some large things in your family.
Yes.
Yes, you do. That's a... talk about your father, your unbelievable father.
Yeah, my dad is, everybody says, where'd you get, all the music stuff from? And he said, I moved a lot of pianos when I was a kid, and he plays a shoehorn. But he still is. He's 97 years old. He's doing great, and he still comes out to gigs.
He's an amazing man.
John sees him, and you sit down and talk to him. But he was like one of those guys who didn't say very much, but when you did, when he did say something, you paid attention to what he was doing. Arguments with him, there wasn't one, because if you raised your voice, he'd say, "What are you yelling at me for?"
Yeah. No, he's brilliant.
End of the argument.
Yeah, he's a brilliant man.
You are right. But they didn't really, my mom and dad they didn't push us towards something or pull something away. They let us choose what we were going to do.
So it's interesting that they didn't push you, but you felt like something must have compelled you if you weren't being pushed? What do you think compelled you to do what you want to do?
I didn't want to go to work every day. I didn't want a job, so I tried it.
See, I was trying to be all mystical on you, and you just went right to the thing. I didn't want to work that much.
No, like any of us do. There is a lot of work in this, but it's a different kind of work.
Yes,
and it's very gratifying. And they didn't take to it right away because my father was an educator. He was the first male teacher in the Duluth school district, in the elementary school. The first male teacher ever, 3rd grade. So for me not to choose to go any further, and they invented a D minus on my senior report card so I could get going, with what I needed to do. I actually had a D minus on here.
We're going to talk a lot. I want to get into more of Paul's influences and obviously hear more of PK Mayo's music. So we will return. Live audience, thanks for being here. You're listening to the Mick Feeling Experience, everybody. Keep doing what you're doing. We'll be back.
Hey hockey fans, are you looking for ways to save money? Bank with Heartland Credit Union, Dakota County's credit union, and 2009 River Heights Chamber Business of the Year. You'll enjoy fewer fees, 35,000 surcharge-free ATMs, competitive rates, and federally insured savings. Live, work, worship, volunteer, or attend school in Dakota County? You can join. Visit www.heartlandcu.com or call 651-451-5160. Mention this ad and we'll give you the first $5. Open your account.
Hello, this is Chris from Francis on behalf of fishingforbusiness.com. Have you ever thought of holding your next meeting while fishing?
All right, we just refilled the wings. We just got another 300 wings. So come on back.
Fishingforbusiness.com. All the information is there for you to see. Fishing for Business is a full guide service, extended or day trips. Spend a day with your best customer or your best employee. Get out of the office, off the phone, and get down to business. Fishingforbusiness.com, a unique way to get business done.
Since 2004, Minnesota Sports Online.com has strived to bring you the best of high school sports coverage. We have grown to partner with newspapers like the Star Tribune, as well as 70 radio stations across the state. Whether you're checking out the week's top 10s, printing out your playoff brackets, looking up stats, or listening to live audio, we want to say thanks for stopping by. And do us a favor, be sure to tell others about MinnesotaSportsOnline.com.